There's one. Yeah, there's one. Holy crap. Oh, a big fish, folks. A big fish right there. Don't come off. Don't come off. There's so many people coming into fishing every day that there's really probably more new fishermen out there than old fishermen guys, really. And they don't know how to fish. These new guys, they just don't know how to fish yet. You got to learn. And, you know, the other day I was out here and there's a guy over there on the other side and he had his rod like this. He had it just like that, and he was reeling like this. So do it like that. Just don't get into that. That's a bad habit. Why people get into doing that is because they're probably left-handed or something, and they feel more comfortable reeling with this hand. So obviously, when your reel is like that, you can't reel it with this hand unless you do that. So here's what you do instead. And a lot of newbies don't know this, but most spinning reels are reversible. All right, on this little side right here, you see that little knurled ring right there? They call it a knurled ring there. But you turn that right there, and as you turn that, what you can do is you pull that little cap off, and you don't lose it. And you can pull this out, and bring it around and put it in through that side, and then bring your little knurled ring, and then reattach it on the other side. So the handles on most of these reels are reversible. So a lot of newbies don't know that. And that's going to keep you from doing this little deal right here. Find a good balance point. Now some people will say always hold your reel like this, you know, between those two fingers, you know, do it like that. But see, the balance point is bad like that. I like to find my balance point even if I have to hold it up here. Particularly when I'm fighting a fish, I like to find a good balance point, because you definitely don't want to do this little number right here, because then you're going to wear yourself out from trying to hold this thing up. See, all to hold this up is coming from this strength in the arm right there in that arm. So that's why finding the balance point to me is important. So suddenly now I'm not having to use the strength in my arm to hold that at a balance point. Whereas if I come down here like this, I am, because it's going to fall forward, so I'm going to have to use strength to hold it up. So, you know, you need to just be comfortable with what you're doing. Play with it, see how it feels comfortable, and find a good, comfortable balance point on your reel. And, you know, you can fish longer throughout the day. You won't wear out as easily. And just get to where you feel comfortable with it. And that'll make a big difference right there. I had to break off some of my line, so what's happened is when you break off your line and you don't have as much, there's one right there. What do we got, folks? Probably white bass. So I knew there was a little school of something in there. They're breaking all out here. So I was just going to say, can't cast out quite as far. Look at that, folks. Them white bass, boy, they fight hard. Let's get him in here. He's a little bit smaller one. We'll get him in here and get him back out there. Pretty little fish right there. Little small school of white bass in here this evening, folks. Let's turn him loose right here. That's a little smaller than normal, but we'll take him on this slow night. Here you go, little buddy. Back to the deep. You know, folks, back in the day, a lot of the old timers, and I guess some people still do, they bite their line, you know, instead of having something to cut it with, they just reach up there and bite it with their teeth and cut their little tag end off. But if you carry a pair of needle nose pliers, so when them treble hooks, you know, get embedded in the fish's mouth, it's easy to get them out. But also, if you have a pair of needle nose pliers that has wire cutters on them, then you can use that to cut your line right there. There's right out in front of me, I've got fish coming up, hitting top of the water. Right there was a nice one. Get my camera up here, dang old camera. There was one. Yeah, there's one. Holy crap. Uh-oh, folks. We are hooked up with a striper. I can almost guarantee you that's a striper right there. Oh, a big fish, folks. A big fish right there. Don't come off. Don't come off. That right there took off and hit hard and took off. I mean, it may not be a striper, but it's big, though. It's bigger than a white bass, I'm pretty sure. Let's see what we got right here, folks. I don't know. Maybe I have my drag set real loose. Maybe it's not that big. It might just be a big white bass. Oh, it's a big drum. Big old drum. Big nice drum right there. Let's get him moved down here and see if we can get him on these rocks right here. He hit that curly tail and he took off running. I thought I had me a big striper there for a minute, but my drag was a little bit loose. That drag was loose and he took off. Look at him. Good hook set right there in the mouth. He's not a monster drum. I've caught him way bigger than this before, but that's a pretty good fight right there, folks. We'll take that. If I can get down here without getting hurt. Now I can't lift him up. That's the thing right here, folks. I got 8-pound test line on. So as a newbie fisherman, one thing you don't want to do right here is you don't want to try to lift them out of the water like that. That line would most likely break. So don't try that unless you got some pretty stout line. 8-pound test, that's a 3-pound fish. 2.5 pound, he'd probably break that line if I tried to lift him out of there. So we ain't gonna do that. I'm gonna try to get down here and get him around the gills, being careful not to damage his gills right there so he won't get injured. Yeah, we got him right there now. I don't fall down here, boy. He's pretty. Look at him in that light right there. That's a pretty fish right there, folks. Pretty little fish. Let's get him unhooked here. I got my pliers up on the bank, but I think I can get it loose right here. We got him loose right there, folks. He's unharmed. Good to go back. If I don't fall down, if I don't get down here and get hurt. Try to give him a decent release, but that's about as good as it's going to get, folks. There he goes. I just stuck my hand in that potato vine right there and I felt them little stingers on it. Don't stick your hand down there in them potato vines, folks, because it's got little stingers on it. That didn't feel good. Good Lord, got a big skipjack on, folks. Look at that. Good God. Man, get him down here and get him turned loose real quick, right? Yeah, let me see. I might be able to lift him up right here. Uh-oh. Well, that was not what I wanted to do, just what I told you folks not to do, and I did it. Fortunately, I got my jig back right here. I don't know if he'll be all right. Usually when you drop them like that, folks, they don't like to be dropped. But here you go, little buddy. You get on back out there and maybe you'll be all right. Well, anyway, yeah, folks, when you catch a skipjack like that, they're very fragile. You got to get them back out there in a hurry unless you want to keep them for catfish bait.